There's two ways that you can look at the governing vessel, conception vessel. Actually, a third way. One is that they're just really one circuit of energy. One turns into the other. Externally, they both run up the body, and internally, they both run down in the body, and they create a figure 8 movement. So that's one way that you can look at it. The second thing is that there's two other dimensions. One is that you can look at it in its primitive manifestation, and that is how meridian appeared in the cell, and then how it specialized in a fully developed organism like a human being. In the specialized version, we see it as the meridians that run up the external part of the body and down the internal part of the body. But in the primitive sense, the governing vessel, conception vessel, is the motion of the cell, because that motion is the life force. That motion is what determines the ability of that cell to perform its basic life functions. So you could say that motion pervades the whole organism when it's a cell, but if we fast forward, everything really is in motion in the human body. Usually we only notice motion when it's on the macro level, when we're walking, sitting, or if we just watch somebody moving. But there's also motion happening all the time at a micro level. The cells are moving, the organs are moving, the articulations are expanding and contracting. So there's motion happening at every level of the body, and that is a continuation of what was going on in the cell, this life-generating motion or energy or life force. When you look at treating governing vessel, conception vessel, or you consider to even diagnose it, you could consider these more micro motions in the breathing. When you look carefully, there's motion that spreads through the whole system, that pervades the whole system. You can start to see, if you're practicing looking at it that way, you can start to see where motion is blocked. Even these subtle motions, you can see where it's restricted. And there you can apply work using Shiatsu or bodywork techniques that bring back these subtle motions. The lack of subtle motion, or sometimes you can see that a part of the body is trying to move, but it's being held back somehow. And this is the way that you could evaluate the primitive aspect of the governing vessel, conception vessel, because it's not just related to these two lines that are drawn on charts as meridian lines. It's related to the whole entire organism. As Masunaga was saying, the governing vessel, conception vessel, governs all the other meridians. It regulates all the others. He was also saying, and I think for me it's the most important part of his work or his philosophy, was that in the primitive cell, motion is equal to meridian, and that motion helps the cell perform its basic life functions. But then he was saying about the specialized organism that governing vessel, conception vessel, performs the basic life function. So that statement put together shows that they're really the same thing at the same time. The governing vessel, conception vessel, is that primitive motion that represents meridian in the cell.